Tyageshwaram Ramakrishnam Saradam Matrirupinim Vivekanandamacharyam Natva Vakshami Shraddhaye Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram. Sri Guru is answering the disciple its questions, and general instructions are being given how one, like we ourselves are responsible to get rid of this misery called by samsara, the samsara dukkha. To free ourselves from it, we have to work ourselves. That was the topic. And we saw there are two types of miseries in the world. Certain miseries, other people can help us. Suppose there is a debt, someone can help us free ourselves from that debt and the misery caused by that debt. Or if I'm carrying some load on my head and that is causing misery, such misery can be avoided. Someone else can take that load. So there is the kind of misery where others can help. But there is another kind of misery where others cannot help. Like when I am sick, then the medicine I alone will have to take. The patya, whatever precautions I have to take. No one else can take those on my behalf and cure me. It's not possible. So that one, the hunger, another example given. If one is hungry, one has to eat food oneself. Somebody else eating food will not appease the person who is hungry and will not remove his suffering. So there are these two kinds of sufferings in the world, where others can help, the other where we have to work ourselves. And this samsara dukkha belongs to the second kind. We have to work ourselves to free ourselves from this samsara dukkha. Others, of course, can help to point us towards the means, but actual means we have to undertake and free ourselves from this misery. That was one point. This was about freeing misery. The other example given was having the joy of seeing the Chandra, the full moon. If one wants to enjoy the beauty of full moon, one has to go out and see with one's own eyes. So also if one wants to know the self with sphuta bodha chakshusha, that was the word used, with the eye of knowledge, and that knowledge is sphuta, with a clear, pure knowledge. So other person seeing the moon and describing the beauty, we won't get the same joy that we get by seeing the moon. So also, if we want to realize the self and get that Paramananda, we have to realize it with our own eyes of pure knowledge. Others' realization will not help us. So that's where the self-effort or the responsibility is on us. That was what told. And then it was kind of being concluded saying that avidya kama karmadi pashabandha vimochitum kah shaknuyat vinatmanam kalpakoti shatairapi. As I said, this is just a conclusion of that. But one phrase has come now. It says that there is this pashabandha or pashayarbandha, actually they mean the same thing. There is this bondage caused by avidya, kama, karma, etc. Avidya, kama, karma, adi, pashabandha, vimochitam, to free ourselves from that. Kalpakoti shatairapi, even thousands and thousands of years, kah shaknuyat vinatmanam, except my own self, my bondage will not go, even in millions of years. Unless I work myself, my bondage will not go. So, kah shaknuyat means kopi na shaknuyat, that is a negation actually. No one except me will be able to free me from this bondage. The phrase avidya kama karmadi, this comes many times in the bhashya of on Upanishads and all that. So we have seen earlier ajnana yogat anatma bandha tateva samsruti. That was the sequence, or not exactly sequence, the cause and effect. Because of identification or coming together with ignorance, there is this anatma bandha. And anatma bandha means it's just bondage of the non-self, which means identification with the non-self. Because we do not know our real nature, that is the ajnana. Because of that, we identify ourselves with the non-self. That becomes anatma bandha. And then tateva samsriti, from that anatma bandha springs forth, so to say, this samsara, this repeated births and deaths. So how that happens, that is, that link is kind of given here. Avidya kama karmadi. So that is, as I said, this comes many times in the bhashya. Avidya is that ajnana yoga. Out of that comes anatma bandha, that is identification with the non-self. When this happens, when we identify ourselves with the non-self, almost simultaneously we are aware of the world, of things outside of ourselves. Like when anatma bandha happens, we identify ourselves with a limited entity, vyashti. And simultaneously we experience things outside ourselves, bheda. That happens simultaneously. These two stand and fall together, kind of say. My perception of myself as a limited individual, and my perception of the world, they are correlated. So when there is this anatma bandha, there is perception of things outside me. And that leads to kama. We never seek ourselves. We seek things which are outside ourselves. So this kama, avidya leading to kama, it is through anatma bandha. And this kama is seeking things outside ourselves. That is desire. We can also add hatred and all that. Hatred also comes from people or objects outside ourselves. So for both, this bheda darshana is necessary. So anatma bandha leads to bheda darshana, or it's coeval with bheda darshana. Bheda darshana invariably leads to kama, dvesha, etc. All these drives. So avidya, kama. And once these drives take hold of us, then we need to work. That leads to karma. We want something, we want to get rid of something. For that we have to work, we have to favor someone, we have to hurt someone, do dharma, adharma, or acquire punya, papa. So this karma adi leads to these things. Like you do karma, and that adi, etc. is there. Etc. means this acquisition of punya, papa. Then to experience the results of that punya, papa, punya leads to happiness or pleasure, and papa leads to misery. To experience that, we have to be born again and again. So this is how the samsara starts. So there is this avidya or ajnana yoga, then anatma bandha, bheda darshana, then kama, then karma, then phala. That whole thing is samsriti. That is the samsara. So that earlier only three items were told: ajnana yoga, anatma bandha, and samsara. So here a bit more explanation how it is happening, how we are falling for the world because we have this ignorance. So this cannot be got rid of except by ourselves. That's what is told up to now in these few verses. Now the means to free ourselves from this samsara, this is Advaitic standpoint. This is Advaitic text. So they have their own means. We have discussed this earlier. There will be repetitions, and these are meant for ideas to sink in our mind. So yogis have their own immediate means of moksha. What leads to moksha? Yogis will have their own. So like that, the Advaita Darshana has its own sakshat karana, that is immediate means for moksha. And that is na yogena na sankhyena karmana no na vidyaya brahmat maikatva bodhena moksha siddhyati na anyatha. So moksha is that liberation. This is established or achieved only through Brahmatmaikya Bodha and by no other means, no anyatha. So this is the remedy, or this is the way, or the immediate reason, cause for moksha. Brahmatmaikya Bodha. Bodha is knowledge of the unity of Brahman and Atman. Atman is individual self, Brahman is universal self. So they are one. But Bodha means to realize their existing identity. And that Bodha alone leads to moksha. That is the Advaitic position. Now once we understand this, then we can understand the earlier line, or whatever you call it, na yogena na sankhyena karmana no na vidyaya. So it says these will not help in leading directly to moksha. So here yoga, sankhya, these two we can take as darshanas, that is the philosophical systems. There is this yogic system of Patanjali's yoga, and I think Sankhya, Kapila Muni's Sankhya. So these two are there. So their knowledge about what they preach, why it cannot lead is because both these systems are, so to say, dualistic or pluralistic systems. They accept multiplicity of souls. Now, as we saw, according to Advaitic Siddhanta, Brahmatmaikya is an existing fact. Whereas, so there is no multiplicity of souls. There is only one without a second. But in this yoga and Sankhya philosophies, they are Bahupurushavadin. There are multiple Purushas. As many Jivas, so many Purushas, according to them. Also, they accept Prakriti, or the external nature, not necessarily external, right? Starting from our mind, everything is nature in that system. So everything apart from Purusha, starting from Buddhi up to the gross elements, everything is part of nature, but that nature is as real as the Purusha. So metaphysically, there is Prakriti, then there are innumerable Purushas. So because this is their principle, this is their Siddhanta, this is what they believe in. Now, since they believe in this, they will never achieve the state of Brahmatmaikya Bodha, because they are not even aiming for it. And that is why the text says that Yogena Sankhena, you will never achieve moksha, because they even don't believe in Brahmatmaikya. So there is no question of them realizing it. Even the practice of yoga will not lead to this, because that conviction itself is not there. This Patanjali Yoga and Vedanta, they accept the Vedantins, Advaita Vedantins accept yogic practices. Their sadhana they accept. The Ashtanga Yoga, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, all those they accept. Only they don't accept the Siddhanta, that is the philosophical tenets of the yogic system. These Advaitis don't accept, but they only accept their sadhana, their means. Those are accepted, but not the Siddhanta. And so yoga and Sankhya are out because of their being pluralistic or dualistic nature. The karma is Purva Vimamsaka's karma, that is the Yajna, Yaga and Sakama karma like that. So that also will not lead to moksha, because that also is undertaken, taking for granted the plurality, the bheda, the distinction. I am the karta, this is my karma, these are the accessories, this is the phala. So the whole gamut of bheda is accepted, and then one engages in karma. So such a karma cannot lead to the unitary experience of Brahmatmikya Bodha, and hence karma also doesn't qualify to be a sakshat karana, that is the direct and immediate means for moksha, because it is rooted in duality. And last is Vidyaya, that is Vidya. Here Vidya means upasana. Upasana, in Upanishads we have many upasanas on various deities. Even this upasana, it is also again rooted in Veda, because there is upasya and upasaka. I am worshipping, meditating, and there is the object of meditation. So this Veda is accepted. Hence, all these four cannot be direct and immediate means of moksha, because they can never lead to Brahmatmaikya Bodha. But karma, nishkama karma and nishkama upasana, these are a great help in moksha. There is no doubt about it. Through parampara, as intermediary, the nishkama karma and nishkama upasana, they have a great role to play. We saw this earlier. Chittasya shuddhaya karma. Karma is meant for purity of the mind. Without that, we cannot have purity of mind. Unless we undertake nishkama karma and upasana, we cannot have that purity and concentration of the mind. So, karma and upasana, it is not that they are completely useless. That is not the point. They cannot be sakshat karana, like Brahmatmaikya Bodha. They cannot directly lead to moksha. But nishkama karma and upasana, nishkama upasana, they have an absolutely necessary role. Without that, we cannot practice this vichara at all. Unless mind is pure and concentrated, this Advaita sadhana is not possible. So they are absolutely necessary. But they do not directly lead to knowledge, moksha. That is the point that is being told here, the limitations basically. But at the same time, they are absolutely necessary. Without that, this Advaita moksha is not possible. So this is, so now one is, first is, we have to do things ourselves. That was what told earlier. And now what we have to do is this Brahmatmaikya Bodha. That's what will lead to moksha. Nothing else has the potential to directly lead us to moksha. So these 2 points. How to get that Brahmatmaikya Bodha? That next few verses, as I said, there is repetition of ideas and all that. But how to get that? That's what the next few verses tell. First verse is kind of, it looks at certain kind of people, section of people who look at the very superficial meaning of words. This Brahmatmaikya Bodha, they look at the superficial meaning, and they think that if we practice that, then we will get moksha. So he gives the example of the word Raja. Raja is a king. So I think Raja Prakriti Ranjanat. How is the Raja? Who is a Raja? So one who does Prakriti Ranjana. Prakriti means subjects. The king has his subjects, Praja. And Ranjana means to entertain them, but in this context it means to keep them happy. Raja Prakriti, one who, that is the Raja Dharma. One becomes a true king only when the subjects are happy. That is one of the maxims or accepted Raja Dharma. Now someone reads it and says that, if I keep the subjects happy, I will be king. If I keep the subjects entertained, I will be king. Very superficial understanding. And then the text says he buys one veena and beautiful player he becomes and starts entertaining people. But then the text says just because he is doing Ranjana of the Praja, that doesn't make him king. His knowledge of that phrase is very superficial. His knowledge of the responsibility of the king is very superficial. Like that, one should not have a superficial knowledge of this Brahmatmaikya Bodha. And maybe we can quote this Virochana, Indra and Virochana. So both of them were told that you are that. But this Virochana thought that this body itself is that and forgot everything else. So that was kind of a superficial understanding. One shouldn't fall for it. The second, and which is more serious and important, is the role of scriptures. Okay, we understand we shouldn't superficially understand what the Upanishads are telling. But if I go one step deeper, try to intellectually understand what the scriptures are telling, is that enough? That becomes the question. So scriptural study, what is its need and what are its limits? That becomes the next topic. And here there are a couple of verses which are oft quoted. Vag Vaikhare Shabdajari Shastra Vyakhyana Kaushalam Vaidushyam Vidusham Tadvat Bhuktaye Natu Muktaye. So a person studies scriptures deeply, understands the meaning and has the flowery language and the capacity to explain Shastra Vyakhyana Kaushalam. All that may be there and he has understood it intellectually, no doubt. But even that is not enough. Because that Vaidushya, that scholarship, can only bring him mukti. Mukti means this worldly prosperity, not mukti. So that is the verse which tells that you may have a good intellectual grasp of the Vedantic teachings, this Brahmatmaikya Bodha. You may even be able to explain it. But that will also be only for your prosperity, worldly prosperity. It will not give moksha, mukti. And then it kind of cautions those who want to think that intellectual competence is enough, or who are very much interested in intellectually understanding the Vedanta, Upanishads. For them, a word of caution, again a very oft-quoted verse, Shabdajalam Maharanyam Chitta Brahmanakaranam. This world of scripture, so to say, it's like a Shabdajala. And Maharanyam, it's like a big forest. Chitta Brahmanakaranam. It could be a cause for diversion of the mind. They use the word Shastra Vasana. There is Vishaya Vasana, the desire for objects of enjoyment. But there is also Shastra Vasana. Shastra Vasana is where we feel we should study more scriptures, get the intellectual meaning, get a grasp, correlate ideas from this scripture, that scripture, how same thing is being told, whatever, counterpoints, points. This all, and it becomes a kind of an inebriation for them. So that is called Shastra Vasana. That the teacher is, the author is alerting us against it. So don't fall for this Shastra Vasana. Don't get into reading too many scriptures and trying to, because that intellectual understanding has its limitations. That I think that's what the next verse will be Vignate paritatve shastraadhitistu nirmala. Vignate paritatve shastraadhitistu nirmala. It clearly tells what is the purpose of studying scriptures. That we'll see in our next class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Bhagavan